watching. Please like and subscribe to help us spread Teepa's positive approach message around the world.
Hey everybody, welcome back. TGIF, I guess. Hey, I'm excited it's Friday because we're going to try something new today, just like I like to do on Friday, something a little different, something a little new. So yesterday, Beth was talking about, she did a really nice job with how the brain is changing. And she referenced a new book that Teepa has out, brand spanking new. So today we have a guest with us who is a part of that book, Dan Bulgarelli. Dan, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So Dan knows a whole heck of a lot about this book. And we'll explore that. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just say, yeah, I mean, basically my job was to take a lot of the content that Teepa's done over the years and not screw it up, but try to bring it into a more modern and timeless sense, because a lot of the articles, a lot of the information she had were written for a very specific time or around an event. And we wanted to make that a little more accessible to others. And then, or regardless of the time. And then she also let me and Debbie, who helped organize the whole project, use our voices a little bit as well to take what Teepa has taught us, what we've learned learned from working with her over the years, and express ourselves.
So right there, this book is a little bit different. So Shelley, what do you notice is different about what Dan just said and what, if you just typed in Amazon, understanding dementia. So what's different right away?
What's different right away is it's more than just Teepa involved in the writing of the book.
Right away, one of the core values or the core things that we teach is it takes a team. One person working as a lone ranger is not going to be nearly as successful as a team. So right there is one thing that's different about this, that is because you get different points of view. Now, why might this be important when it's a book about dementia?
Well, because everybody has a different point of view, who's living with dementia or who isn't living with dementia. So
Dan, anything different?
We're all unique people.
Yeah, we're all unique and we all have a different point of view. And we can still be in the same situation with the same information and have a valid and interesting point of view. It's not just one person. Yes, Teepa is an expert, but it's really cool to have multiple points of view.
And on top of that, I think not only are we all unique, we all come into this thing called dementia with our own history, our own information or misinformation, as many of us might have come into it with. And we don't necessarily understand the scope of what dementia actually is, or the different types of dementia and how they may progress differently, or the different parts of the brain that they may impact. So many people think, oh, dementia equals Alzheimer's equals memory problems. But did you know it affects vision? Did you know it affects language? Did you know it affects my ability to move, to sequence, to do so many things? And it's not just like one of those things where, okay, my vision might be going, but it's a combination. It kind of builds on itself. And this book, I think, kind of blends the science of it, but also the layman's terms to help people like me understand it. And actually then do something. There are tips in each thing of things you can try. And I think it turned out really well. I know I'm biased, but I do think it turned out really well.
Well, Dan, I know after I got my copy and read it, one of the first things I said to you was, I love that balance of science and accessibility to someone who's less experienced or doesn't have that same medical or scientific background. And you just mentioned something, Dan, about it also addresses practically, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
So Dan, I was hoping you could help me out.
You want me to help you out?
I would love for you to help me out, Dan. Is that okay?
I can help you out. I would love to help you out.
Okay. So there's this really neat chapter. I think it's about language. And there's a really interesting, I'm not going to say anymore. Dan, let's do it. Okay, here we go. So I'm in the kitchen and Dan is working at his computer in the living room. All right, so I'm not gonna even look because I'm gonna be in the kitchen. Hey, Dan, what do you want for dinner?
I'm not all that hungry. What do you have in the fridge that wouldn't be too much trouble and is lighter?
It looks like I could do something with eggs, or I could make a soup from leftover vegetables and some canned beans I have.
How about an omelet with some of the veggies?
Okay. Oh, are you going to class after that? And what time are you gonna leave?
I need to pick up Jason, get some flyers, so maybe 6:30.
Okay. Round one. Round two. Something's changed in Dan's brain. Hey, Dan, what do you want for dinner?
What?
What do you want for dinner?
I'm going out tonight.
I know that. I wanted to know what you wanted to eat for dinner.
I have gas class tonight. I've got to take something with me. Do you remember what it is?
I'm not talking about that right now. I'll tell you later. Right now, I want to know what you want for dinner.
Well, it sure sounds like you're talking to me right now. I don't remember what it is I'm supposed to take to class, but it's something that I need. I better call the guy who's going with me and see if we're going to get dinner on the way there.
I come into the room. What are you talking about? You are going to eat here before you go to glass class. Jason is going with you, and you have to get your pliers out of the workshop before you go. Now, for the last time, what do you want to eat for dinner?
Nothing. I'm not hungry, and why are you yelling at me?
Sorry.
Okay, any comments so far?
It just sounds so familiar.
Is that what somebody said?
No, it's what I'm saying. It sounds familiar.
So what about it sounds familiar?
Well, when people don't understand what's going on, they get mad at each other. Or they get mad
Yes.
at the other person because they just don't really, they're not aware either.
Because they're not aware, this is not comfortable, this is not who you're supposed to be. We've had this conversation thousands of times in our relationship.
And both had their own agenda. So
Yeah.
Kathryn was really wanting to know about dinner, and that's not where my head was, but she
Right.
wasn't willing to deviate.
Right,
And I wasn't maybe able to deviate
Right.
or not willing. We don't know.
We don't know. But something is different about Dan.
Mhm.
And since this is a book about dementia, we will give you that. Dan is now living with some dementia,
Mhm.
meaning at least 2 parts of his brain are dying. It's progressing. It's not going to get better. It's not getting better. His partner, I don't have any way of stopping this, nor does the medical community. And ultimately, I don't know this yet, but if nothing else gets him, it's terminal. And all this is in that book. It's the foundation. These are some of the foundation things. All right, so I'm curious. Now, Dan and I know what happens next. So I've got this book. I got this really cool book, Shelley, called Understanding the Changing Brain.
Mhm.
So next time I go back, what might I change about my conversation or try that's a little different?
You might try to start the conversation in the same room,
Okay.
okay? And you might try to reflect back what he said instead of going off on your own thing.
So being in the visual field,
Mhm.
using some reflection
And
and
connect,
anything else,
and connecting
connecting
with choices.
with choices. All right. So let's see how this one goes. Dan? Hey, sorry to interrupt you. I'm getting ready to fix dinner. Would you rather have soup or something else?
Soup or something else?
Mm-hmm.
What's the something else?
So not soup, but something else instead. Oh, how about an omelet or a sandwich?
An omelet or a sandwich? What's in the omelet?
How about eggs and cheese and veggies?
Eggs and cheese sound good, but what are veppies?
So eggs and cheese are good, but you aren't sure about the veppies. Let me show you what I've got, and you can see what you think. Here are the things, let me show you. Here are the things I have to put in the eggs and the cheese for an omelet tonight.
Oh, those things are fine. I like them. I just didn't want those veppies you were talking about.
Great. I'm gonna get to work fixing this. Hey, can you come help set the table?
Sure.
Thanks, Dan. Okay,
Yeah.
so Shelley,
Mhm.
Dan, too, because Dan and I have never done this.
Yeah.
This was a real-time conversation that we're having. Yes, it was scripted, but what did you notice was different in this interaction?
Well, you greeted him at first and said, "I'm sorry to interrupt." So, do you have a moment to talk?
And where did I do that from?
Far enough from personal space, public space. Yes, you did your positive physical approach. Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and I got into his visual range because previously even though I could have done that other thing outside of it, but
Right.
we're just winging this here kind of.
Right.
And so I greeted him. I used my PPA.
Mhm. Right.
What else did you notice about me?
I also noticed that you gave choices, and when he didn't like the first choice, you came up with two more.
I think that happened 3 times that I gave him different
And then
choices.
when he said a word that didn't make sense, you didn't go, "What the heck?" You just said, "Oh, veppies. Okay." And then figured out how to help him see them rather than just hearing the words.
Yeah, so I gave him choices. I let him say again what I'm sorry. You just said something? See, changing brain.
Veppies.
You gave him
Talking
choices,
about
and then you gave him two more choices when you found out.
Yeah, I kept giving choices. I never let go. I just kept letting him be in
Charge.
and control. I kept letting it be about his likes or dislikes.
Right.
What did you notice about my language?
For me, I noticed.
Other than the saying veppies, I'm sorry to interrupt. That's the thing Shelley said is saying, when you said veppies, I just said veppies. So that was the thing, sorry. So the language thing there, but is there anything else?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think everything you presented was short. It wasn't a long thing that I was being required to follow along and then figure out what it was you wanted me to focus on. It was
Right.
a short thing, either or choice. Okay, something else. Short thing, either or choice. So it wasn't overly taxing for me. I knew what you were looking for and I could provide an answer. And to me, that always makes things easier, regardless of brain change.
Yeah, so just keeping it short. Most of those sentences were 5 words or less. Keeping it short. And I also consciously did something.
Time aware.
Time awareness. You kept it short time-wise too. It wasn't.
I kept it short. And I also gave myself
You gave yourself a pause, a break.
For him.
For him and also for you to think about something.
Yeah, so we both have that time to process. Did I ever ask the question again?
No.
How about my pace?
Nice.
It was slower and your voice was lighter. Even from the first time, like.
Yeah. Yeah,
It wasn't because when you're calling from another room, what do you want for dinner? No matter what, when you raise your voice, it has an edge to it completely unintentionally.
Right.
But with a lower, slower speed and a lower volume, everything sounded much lighter, but you didn't go into the, what do you want? You didn't do that. You just had a nice neutral tone that allowed, it to be a conversation.
So that tone, the voice, the speed, the visual cues, the short. Now, do you think I just know this, or did I take it from the script?
A little bit of column A, a lot of bit of column B.
I was going to say a little bit of both, I would think.
Exactly, a little bit of both. So I have gotten a lot of training and skills and experience through other things that I've learned from PAC, because I started day one with PAC myself. In 2014, there was one day that I knew nothing and I had no awareness, and I walked out this much aware. But I've been growing and working my skills. But I'll tell you what, a lot of that is written in there. So this is part of the book in the language piece.
You mind if I go off script for just one moment?
Of course, I'm not on a script right now.
I know, but I'm going to change the dialogue just a moment, in the sense of, is anybody that watches this regularly may recognize my last name. I am married to Amanda, who is here often. She actually works right there. And so we share an office 8 hours a day. And there's a lot of times where we want to ask each other a question. And I don't know how many times she has spoken. I've just not paid attention because I assume she's on a meeting. And then finally she's like, Dan, and to get my attention. And I've done the same to her. I'll be doing something, she's watching a video, and taking the moment to just, hey, do you have a second, to make sure that they're focused on you instead of going right into, here's what I need.
Right.
And that is translated into other relationships as well. And making sure that I'm checking in with a person before I rush into what it is I'm looking for. Whether or not they're living with dementia, that pause, that purposeful pause has made a big difference for me in communication.
So Dan, what I'm hearing is, not that we haven't said this before, this stuff can work for all relationships. This taking the time to get in a visual range, to greet, to say hello, to get connected before you lead with your agenda. So here's the really cool thing about today. So I just want to ask real quick, what's different about having that kind of script in the book than other books about dementia?
Well, it gives you an opportunity to try it yourself.
You could try this. You could say, hey, this is the exact thing that's happening with mom. Can you just try this with me so I can try this out? Because it doesn't make sense to me and I need it. If you're an interpersonal learner like me and a kinesthetic person, I just need to get it come out.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think on top of that, so many tips or suggestions would just kind of tell you, reflect their words. Give them an either or choice. And that's great advice. But for some of us, if we don't see it, if we don't say it, it's once we get in the moment and our amygdala is up, it's like, oh, I'm supposed to give a choice. And then by then it's gone. And so having a script that, even if you're just playing around with your head, hopefully you actually get the words to come out of your mouth first. It just really helps with seeing things.
Yeah, so this book is different, and there's so much else that is different. One of the things I noticed I wanted to share is there are lots of really helpful yet simple to understand pictures of the brain. So if you're a really visual learner and the words are a little less your way style, this has got it all. This has got visual, it's got linguistic, it's got get up and try something kinesthetic. You can have discussions. The chapters are really doable. They're short. And Dan, tell me if this is, my observation is accurate or not, but how many about chapters are there? Sort of like about changing vision, there's about 13, 14?
I would say somewhere in that 10 to 15 range. Because we have a few kind of about Teepa and why she does what she does as well.
Yeah, and
then
then
we have a question and answer period at the end.
So tell me, Was this book written to be read in a linear fashion or something else?
It can be. It's kind of a choose your own adventure in the sense of you don't need to have read the previous chapters to understand what's being written in later chapters. But it's also not like you can't just read it cover to cover. It is, it's article format. It's almost like essay format in the sense of they don't build on each other, but they complement each other.
Yeah.
Love that. Don't build, compliment. Go ahead, Shelley.
I was gonna say, so aren't we gonna do something special today?
Yes, that's where I was going next, Shelley. Thanks for the reminder. All right, we're trying something new because this is such a great book. My favorite so far. Dan, because it took a team. What we're gonna do is a flash sale through this weekend. Shelley is putting in a coupon code. Did you put in the terms as well?
I did, yep.
And the terms. So you will be getting a 20% discount on this book. And this is because we really want you to get this or share it, or it's stocking stuffers. It is, or a gift to someone else or your support group. This book is so good and so informational and so accessible. I think it's one of the best things to happen as far as support, and it's new and different.
And we got Deborah said this book is awesome. So somebody's already read it and somebody else said, I already bought it. I'm going to see it in the next few days. So good job, folks.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. Thank you, Dan, for your really hard work on this, because it is fantastic and supportive and interesting and different.
My
And
pleasure. It was truly a labor of love. It's me being able to express anything that Teepa's taught me over the past 6 years is so much fun. We've already started working on the second book in the series.
what? There's more?
There's going to be, I think, 5 or 6 books in the series.
Well, wonderful.
And so the next one is focusing more on ADLs. The third one we're hoping will be from the perspective of some of our friends on the core team that are living with dementia, what life has been like them through before diagnosis, during diagnosis, after. We really want this to be a set that people can take and really understand and help and be supportive and just come join us on the positive approach side.
Come join us in positive approach. And thank you, everybody, for sticking with us. I know this is a little long, but this is so important and it's so good.
Yep.
So thank you, everybody. Go visit our website and use your coupon code and come back and see us next week. Thanks. Have a good weekend.